explored that a lot more, gone a lot further. But at the same time, I'm able to kind of sit back and say, um, I might respectfully disagree with some of the things that we did, or some of the things I might feel that we didn't spend enough time on. But you also have to, like, as I just a little sports thing, recognize game, right? So what Joe and Ildy did made this a very popular show. It made this a very successful show. No one can deny that. No one can take that away from them. So what they did was incredible, and what they did worked. Um, so we all have our opinions, and what we, every actor, what we may or may what we may have liked, what we maybe wanted to see, or what we wanted to explore. But I don't think there's any actor in this cast who can ever say that what Joe and Ildy didn't work. It obviously worked. It worked very well, and so I just always want to give them the respect and praise that they deserve, as well as when I share what my opinion is, respectfully.
Gotcha. Well, it definitely works because you got a lot of fans who love the show, love you, love the cast, and we know that we can definitely know that we'll be seeing your style and your projects, I'm sure, to come as well. Okay, Shell QE has says they loved you on 24 as well. Do you have any stories from the set and filming that show?
I just remember being so nervous to meet Dennis Haysbert. He was just this incredible force, that voice, his acting. I just looked up to him so much, and loved working with him. Loved working with Kiefer. Very, very intense, generous actor. It was just a really good time in my life. And so I was just so overjoyed that we went after Dennis. And I think for me, because I'm old enough to see Dennis's career, and how extraordinary he is. And I think some of the younger actors only know him from those commercials, which he's been, great in. But I'm very happy that people are going to get a chance to see what made him so strong and important on 24. That now younger people are going to get a chance to see what that power is like. I can't imagine anyone else playing God. He is just, I love the guy personally. He's a good friend, an extraordinary human being, and I think he's going to blow people away. And I think it not just with his gravitas and his power, but Dennis is hilarious in this role. So I can't wait for people to see how funny this guy is.
Oh, good. Did you have anything to do with him being cast in Lucifer? Did you want to reunite the Palmer brothers?
How to answer this question? Here's the thing. I think there are a lot of people who, and rightly so, want to take credit for this amazing casting for Dennis. This is what I will say. I've been pushing for Dennis to be God for years. I saw him. This is, I guess, a few months before COVID. I saw him at, one of those pre-Emmy parties or something that we all kind of go to. I'm not necessarily one that goes to a lot of those. In fact, I hadn't been in one in several years, but I did go to this one with my manager, who dragged me. glad she did. And I saw Dennis that night, and went over to him, and I remember saying to him, like, listen, how would you feel about this? I said, I've been talking about it for a few years, but before I really kind of push it hard, I want to know if this is something that you would be interested in. And he just looked at me, and he said, yeah. And so, of course, I got excited because there's, when you're an actor, you quickly realize that you are only as good as your partner, right? Any actor that thinks that they're great alone, in my humble opinion, is not really a good actor. It is the people around you that make you good, that challenge you. It's why I always kind of sing the praises of Tricia Helfer. It's why I always sing the praises of Tom, Kiefer, Sarah, Eliza, James, Malik, Leon, Tehran, Christian. So I always sing the praises of those actors, because you can only be as good as your partners. And when you have a partner like Dennis, you can't fail, you know. And so having him back on screen, being able to kind of be in his presence just elevated me, elevated my work, because his presence demands that from you, you know. Now what I did here, so I do want to always be fair, is while I was pushing for Dennis to be gone on my end, I heard that Chris Rafferty and Mike Costa, both fans of 24, were pushing for Dennis to be God on their end. So I like to think it was me, Chris Rafferty, and Mike Costa. So there you go.
Kind of got him at both angles. All right. Well, I know we're looking forward to that. Okay, the next question is from Oziols from Perth. At the end of the day, how do you de-stress and relax?
Oh wow! For me, it's always going to be working out. I think this year has been somewhat difficult. You know, I think we can all say that we've put on some COVID weight, myself included. I'm looking forward to taking the extra pounds off, eating a lot of baked goods. But how I de-stress is always going to be working out. So I've been doing a lot of swimming, a lot of walking, a lot of lifting, just a way for me to clear my mind, especially swimming. I mean, I've really taken up swimming during COVID, and it just really takes a lot of that stress away. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be a pretty easy answer. It's always going to be working out.
So yeah, it's definitely, I got that. It's a definite stress relief, that's for sure. Okay, next question is Maria from Russia. How do you fly on wings? Is it difficult to shoot?
It's very interesting. So they have this rigging, right? It can be extremely uncomfortable. Tom and I have talked about this. It's this suit, right? So they put this harness suit on, and it's like a giant onesie, right? So you step into it. Then you have to put your clothes on over it. Then they have these two cables. One usually connects in the front, and one usually connects in the back. And the cables go down through the harness and kind of grab you down below, if you know what I mean. And so it can be really uncomfortable. But once you're up there and they pull the cables, once you're up there, it's a lot of fun. You know, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. You feel a little bit like Peter Pan, or they pull you up and you're able to kind of fly through the air, and all the wing stuff. That's something that they add in post with a lot of through I know visual effects, and so that's fun. You know, it's fun to kind of get that on and kid again for 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be kind of fun to fly. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
All right, the next question is from Sam from the Netherlands. We've got people from all over the world here. They want to know who in the cast is most like their character and who's the least like their character.
Wow, that's a great question. You know what? I think it's one person. I think it's, this may shock people, but I'm going to say to both those questions, it's Leslie Ann. I think Leslie Ann has the strength and the power that you see from Maze on screen, but I also think that when you get to know Leslie Ann, she has one of the biggest hearts, and I quite often would say that she has a gummy bear heart. So it's she's very tough and strong and very smart and fierce and loyal. But on the inside, she's so sweet. She hates for people to say this, but it's true. She's so sweet. She's so sensitive. She cares a lot. She's a wonderful mother. Just an extremely sweet. She has that soft, gooey center, and she cares a lot. So I think it's Leslie Ann for both, actually.
Wow, that is a good answer. Yeah, we had her earlier today for her panel, and she was great, and it's really nice to know that she's got both sides to her. Yeah. All right. So the next question is from Sophia, and they're from Russia. If you could play one legendary movie character, who would it be and why?
One legendary movie character. What do they mean by legendary movie character? Do they mean like say a real life person or?
It could be a historical person or like James Bond or.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, an iconic.
It changes as we get older, huh? Right? I kind of feel like there are a few characters that I had wanted to play, and now I just feel like I've probably aged out of them. So I'm thinking about. I think a character that I would love to play. I think his life story is amazing. His name's Matthew Henson, I believe, and he was the first person to reach. I'm going to get this wrong, please. African American history teachers, do not shoot me. I believe it was the North Pole. It might be the South Pole. I believe it was the North Pole. He was the first human being to reach the North Pole, and he wasn't credited with it at the time. His white counterpart was, and it took some time for the real story to come out. But I just think there's something incredible about explorers, people kind of risking everything to break a record or to get to someplace first. It just shows how incredible the human spirit is. So Matthew Henson, I would love to play him.
Maybe we can look forward to a future project that you develop.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay, the next question is Kobe from the Philippines. What challenges did you encounter while directing your episode of Lucifer?
Whoa, okay. Many. Number one, directing during COVID is really challenging because you just don't have the kind of time that you normally have. There were so many restrictions. People couldn't be in the same place, couldn't mix, couldn't really talk to each other because you had all the PPE on, and so all these hours that you think you have that you appear to have on paper is not true. I also think that when you're a first-time director, this is a business filled with egos and personalities. That's normal. I think all of us in this business, if we don't acknowledge that, I don't think we're being honest, right? It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but it is a challenging thing. And I think when you're a first-time director, you have a lot of people wanting to step in and make decisions for you, and so every day feels like a battle. I think probably the more experience you get, the less people will do that. So I don't think I'm any different than any other first-time director. Every day is a battle. You have to fight for your vision. You have to know when to let it go. But it's a battle every day. It was honestly the most tired I have ever been in my life mentally, with the exception of being a parent. Every parent understands that. With the exception of being a parent, it was the hardest, most rewarding job that I've ever had. So expect to see me doing a lot more of it. I'm really excited about that, and really thankful to Warner Brothers, Netflix. Joe and Ildy, Joan, for giving me the opportunity to flex my muscles in that way, to flex my imagination on a show that I love with people that I care about deeply. It was incredible, but I would say that every single day was a battle.
Well, I know we are all looking forward to your episode. Not just to see the episode, but to see your directing vision come to life. I know we're all looking forward to that. Okay, Sashar from Israel wants to know if there's anything you'd like to keep from set, and will you be able to?
I think I had this question a little bit earlier. I tend not to be a prop, actor, someone that holds on to stuff. But if there's some stuff that I would, some of the clothes, were pretty nice. So Warner Brothers, if some jeans happen to go missing or shirts, I don't know what happened to them. But we'll just see what happens. Some of the clothes are nice.
All right. This next question is for Grace, and the question is: if Amenadiel were to travel back in time, what advice would he give his past self? And if you were to be able to go back in time, what advice would you give your past self?
Wow. If Amenadiel were to go back in time, I believe the advice he would give himself would be, don't be so fucking judgmental. Spend more time with humans. And I think it's that simple. It would simply be to spend more time with humans, to embrace humanity more, to not think that you're above it all. Simply spend time with people. Now, me going back in time, wow, what would I tell myself? I think I was a kid that was, due to circumstances and being a young black kid in a predominantly overwhelmingly white area that was incredibly racist. I was bullied a lot, picked on a lot. Uh, I think what I would probably tell myself is to believe in your voice. I feel like, and you know, we arrive at things the time that we arrive at things, but I think I didn't believe enough in myself when I was younger. Therefore, it feels like I wasted a lot of years, wasted a lot of time trying to um, fit into the image that people wanted me to fit into. And I think in the last, especially the last 7 or 8 years, I've really shed that. And I don't mean this in any offensive way, but I don't really give a shit what people think about me now. I don't think anyone should, as long as you have love from your children, from your family, a few close friends, respect from people at work. That's what's most important. Just be if you're a good person, you're a good person, and you know it. So you don't have anything to prove. And so I think I would definitely go back in time and tell myself not to worry so much about what other people think, and believe in yourself a lot more. Have faith in yourself because you're onto something, and you have a pretty powerful imagination, and you have some gifts. Don't be arrogant about the gifts. You got to work for it, but acknowledge that you have some gifts, and work hard to improve them, and just to have more faith in yourself. And I would say that to people in general, especially young people, to have a lot more faith in yourself, and to believe in yourself more than I think most of us do.
Those are all words to live by. So important. So important. So you mentioned in your meet and greet earlier that you are a musician. Can you talk to us a little bit about your musical background, instruments, influences?
I was, like I said, I was a quiet kid, and I always loved the piano, and my mom can play piano, and my dad would kind of mess around on the guitar when I was growing up. And so I started in high school that I would kind of disappear and just teach myself things on the piano. And so I got pretty good and just spent years doing that. And I was also a dancer, so the way that I hear music is very specific. And so I play piano. I used to play guitar a lot better than I do now. That's definitely one of those things where, I got to get back to it. You definitely lose it if you don't use it. But the instruments that I fool around on, and that I'm decent on are the piano and the guitar.
Do you write music as well?
I used to write a lot of music when I was from about 15 to about 27. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional musician, do the band thing. I had a different type of rap back then that I really loved. Music is truly what I wanted to do. Acting just took off first, and so I just kind of sailed with the thing that was blowing at the time. But I love music. I still love music to this day. So I can tell by the way that I directed this episode this season that music still plays such a large part in my life, because I direct and choreograph. I visualize, see things to music. So I have a feeling that's going to influence a lot of the images that I put into shows that I will direct. That's what I'm trying to do with Lucifer right now. So Fingers crossed.
What kind of dance did you do?
Oh my God, I was a huge hip hop breakdance. Yeah, huge. Both my brother and I. So I got to give him props. But we were very different dancers. My brother was more the pop locker, and I was the crazy one, throwing his body all on the floor, doing kind of flips, head spins, windmills, waving, just crazy stuff, which is probably why my body hurts so much to this day.
That'll do it. That'll do it. That's for sure. Okay. This next question is from Aiden from Turkey. Is there any scene that you couldn't film because you couldn't stop laughing?
Oh my God, yes. There is. Listen, I've always said that Mark is the funniest cast member, but I want to stress, because she's one of my favorite human beings in the world, that Rachel is hilarious. She's hilarious. So Lauren just beats her out. Rachel is hilarious. Since a lot of my stuff is done with Rachel, there are some. I mean, listen. I know that there have to be some takes, some B-roll where I was never able to get through a take, and they had to just kind of cut around my performance and just piece something together, because Rachel is hilarious, and she's just so so in the moment. Things come to her fast. The way her mind works, it's unbelievable. So yeah, definitely scenes with Rachel by far. Yeah.
We get to meet her tomorrow, so.
Oh, fantastic! Tell her that I say hello.
We will absolutely. Okay. Next question is from Nicole, also from the Philippines. How did directing an episode impact you as an actor, and how you play your character?
This is something that's really interesting, because I will say that I think when you're an actor and you finally get behind the camera and you direct, and it's something you want to continue doing, I have a feeling, someone should do a study on this, but I just have a feeling that after actors get behind the camera and then they go back in front of the camera, they're better actors. Not saying they were bad before, or I like to believe that I'm a pretty decent actor, and I've had a pretty cool career. I just think that when you get behind the camera, and especially when you're in the editing room, you start to see why certain things work, why people cut the way they cut, and you start to realize it's not because if someone is cut differently, believe it or not, it's usually not because they gave a bad performance. Sometimes a lot of times it has an issue to do with pace, speed, if something cuts together because they did something differently in every take, and so you have to take a take that out of out of 1 to 10 might be a 7, so it's good, but there was a take that they had where it was just off the scales, 10, but their head was a different way, and you can't cut it together because it wouldn't make any sense. I can't tell you how that's hard for me as an actor to be editing right now and seeing certain things. I mean, thankfully there's not a lot of it, but to see certain things that these actors did that were incredible, Lauren, Tom, that were incredible, but I can't use because there was just something that was a little off. And I have to go to takes that are good. I mean, the two of them are great, right? So you're always going to get really, really good stuff. But as an actor, you always want to, you're pushed that you want to choose takes that are phenomenal all the time. And now I understand why a director sometimes chooses a different take. A lot of times it has nothing to do with the performance, and that's what I've learned. I think I've also learned, you know, when you're watching people, myself, take after take after take, you start to see what works within a lens. You know, you start to see why there are certain emotions, certain ways that people play things that work better in a tighter lens. I'm sorry if I'm talking like all this technical stuff, but in a tighter lens, you know, maybe here, and why something might play better in a wider lens where you're seeing more of the room and more of their body and as they move through space. So I think, yes, it's really affected me as an actor, really affected me. And so I want to keep directing because I want to see, and I just think as an actor, you should never settle. And you should always, I think this is what everybody in life, but you should never settle, but you should just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So I'm going to be really interested to the next project that I do, because we're coming to the end here, but the next project that I do, to kind of take what I've learned from directing, to throw that on as an actor and see what that does to me and does to my future performances from this point forward.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine that it would definitely impact you in that way.
Yeah.
All right, DB, we've got time for one more question, and it's from Anka. What is the first thing you're going to do when COVID is over?
Wow. The first thing I'm going to do when COVID is over is go see my mom. I haven't seen my mom in over a year. She's on the East Coast. She's 79. So, you know, like so many of you, you know, you just didn't want to risk it. You know, you just didn't want to risk it because God forbid that we catch something, right? And chances are that most of us would be okay, but you know, how terrible would it be to have something and to give it to your you know, your mom or dad or grandma or granddad, and in some way be responsible for killing them. You know, I mean, it's just just the stories that I've heard and things that I've seen. You know, and my mom is a retired nurse. You know, so. She took this very seriously. I can now say that my mom has been completely vaccinated, so we're all very happy about that. But just out of an abundance of caution, I want to wait till I'm vaccinated completely. Hopefully one day, you know, I'm like many of you, waiting till my number is called. So the first thing that I'll do is go see my mom.
Oh, I'm sure she cannot wait to see you. Do you guys get to Zoom at least?
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. So, you know, and that's one of the great things about COVID is in a weird way, I've gotten closer with my family because now we've had these kind of scheduled on the weekend FaceTime talks, and we're just catching up, and so that's been really nice. Not as nice as physically touching them and, you know, getting a hug, but it's been nice.
Yeah. Well, DB, thank you so much for being with us today. I know your fans are so excited to see you, and we really appreciate you taking the time out to be here virtually.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you to all of you for being here for us all these seasons, for saving us more times than we can count. We are so blessed and so thankful. We appreciate you guys so much, and just thank you so much, truly.
All right, well, panel is done, tipping is done, and we're going to announce the winner in just a few moments. But first, Make sure you're signed up for our email list at creationent.com, and also follow us on social media at creationent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and at Creation Entertainment on TikTok. Okay, our winner of the 5-minute one-on-one video meet and greet is Jepstein77. Jepstein77, congratulations! You're the winner of the 5-minute one-on-one video meet and greet, and I did see that right before the panel ended, so congratulations. Hang out here in the chat, and just in case we have an issue with getting a hold of you. In the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow with more content. See you then.